Hi, it's Ty the Real Estate Guy, located here in the great state of Utah. This video is for those of you who are wondering if you should build or buy a house right now. There's a lot of confusion and a lot of doom and gloom. I keep hearing that the stock market and the housing markets are going to crash. So today, I'm going to add some clarity and put these rumors to rest. And just so you know, I care deeply for each one of you watching this video. I will always be honest and do my best to safely guide you through the confusing and often turbulent housing market, whether you're looking to build or buy existing. If you'd like to stay up to date on the latest home building and real estate tips and trends, subscribe to my channel below and ring that little bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Today, I'm going to answer two questions. Number one, is the housing market going to crash? And number two, should you buy a house right now? Just so you know, I've been in the real estate industry for about 15 years now. That means I survived the Great Recession, and I can make a fair comparison between what happened then to what's happening now. And let me tell you this, it's not the same thing. Not even close. Now, I'm going to answer the questions I've already stated, and if you watch to the end, I'll give you my advice on exactly when you should buy a house. So I'll start with the question, is the housing market going to crash? And then I'll answer the question, is now a good time to buy a house? So, is the housing market going to crash? The answer to that question is no. The only real variable here is if the coronavirus was to take a second hard run at us and hit the country the same way it hit New York City a few weeks ago. If everything had to remain closed for another 3 to 6 months or longer, then yes, we would have big trouble. And to be completely honest, no one knows for sure what's going to happen with this crazy pandemic. That being said, it looks like we've made it through the worst part of the coronavirus outbreak, and most healthcare professionals believe we've seen the worst of it. Hopefully. Anyway, businesses are starting to open again, and people are starting to move around. Yes, we're going to see a lot more cases of the coronavirus, and sadly, more death. But it feels like we're finally able to start down the road to recovery. That means things will begin to return to normal. Normal means the housing market should be similar to how it was before the coronavirus hit, with some variances. In Utah, like many other areas of the country, the housing market was absolutely on fire before the outbreak, and we've actually continued to sell houses even through the pandemic, but things have definitely slowed. As things return to normal, places like Utah will heat up again due to pent-up demand. There's a lot of people out there who haven't really been affected by this madness, and they're ready to buy a house. Unfortunately, a lot of people have lost their jobs, and due to the fear of the unknown, many others have decided to just stay put and not buy a house right now. That brings demand down. A lot of homeowners feel the same way, and they decided not to sell their houses. That brings supply down. What does it all mean? Well, no one knows for sure how it will all pan out. I suppose each market will react differently, but because it's a bigger risk to buy a house than it is to sell a house, I'm guessing that in most areas of the country, you'll have more people decide not to buy versus those who decide to sell. Because it's likely that more buyers will leave the market than sellers, there's a decent chance that home prices will drop at least a little. But I believe that because both supply and demand will decrease, that the market should remain similar to what they were before the outbreak. I expect that house prices will decrease a little, but don't expect the housing market to crash. Really, from this point forward, house sales will start to increase. A year from now, the market could realistically be similar to what it was before the COVID-19 coronavirus. In areas like Utah, house sales, along with home prices, will soon be on the rise. Now, I often get accused of being too optimistic. I just always feel like things are going to work out for the better. You know, like behind every trial is a blessing, and I do believe there's a blessing, but let's not jump the gun here. Let's assume I'm wrong, or at least look at things from the perspective if things don't go so great. We already know for sure that there will be foreclosures due to the ridiculous loss of jobs. Unfortunately, many Americans will not be able to get new jobs in time to save their homes. It's really sad, but it will happen. The big question is, will there be enough foreclosures to overwhelm the amount of home buyers? I believe the foreclosures will bring prices down in most areas of the country and hold prices down for a few months, maybe even a year. Now, before I continue, can I ask a quick favor? Will you please give this video a thumbs up? I would appreciate that more than you know, and that thumbs up will help others see that this video is helpful. Thanks. Okay, so knowing that home prices will most likely decline, I'll answer the question, should I buy a house right now? The answer is no. Maybe, probably, and for some of you, yes. Why? Because the answer to this question depends on your own personal situation and where you live. If the housing market where you live was stale or declining before the pandemic, then most likely it's still going to be hurting even as the pandemic comes to a close. But if your market is like the housing market in Utah, where we're having a housing shortage, then home prices should take off when people start moving around again. Now, are you personally ready to buy a house? If you can answer the following questions with a yes, then now is a great time to buy a home. And I'll talk more about that in a moment. If not, you may need to wait or at least evaluate your current situation a little further. Okay, here's the questions. Do you have a stable job? Are you earning enough money to pay a mortgage and still save some money each month? Do you have little to no debt? Have you saved enough money to pay the closing costs on a house and put at least 5% down? If your answer to these questions are all positive, then I would say now is a great time to buy a house. But I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Always start by talking to a mortgage lender to see how much home you can afford and so you know what your monthly mortgage payment will be. Because mortgage rates are so low, I would continue my home search, or if I was under contract on a house, I would still close. Even if home prices dip a little, they will certainly bounce back, and probably sooner than later. I know that many of you are thinking, why would I buy a house if we're expecting a dip in home prices? The answer, as I stated in this and other videos, is mortgage rates. If rates increase by just 1%, your monthly mortgage payment would increase by $150 to $300 per month, depending on the price of the house that you buy. That means home prices would need to fall nearly $50,000, once again, depending on the price of the home you're buying, to get a lower payment. And I just don't see that happening. These lower mortgage rates are the blessing behind the trial I was talking about earlier. If you'd like more information on mortgage rates, or you'd like a better understanding on why these crazy low mortgage rates make right now an incredible time to buy a home, check out my video titled Huge Mortgage Rate Drop. Should I buy a house right now? I'll put a link to this video below. Yes, the coronavirus has disrupted our lives and slammed the brakes on the insane housing market. This has given many of you who haven't really been affected by this pandemic a golden opportunity to buy a house. So here's my advice. If you've spoken to a lender and you're ready to go, get out there and buy a house before the market heats up. You will get a better deal on a house at this time, and you'll be able to take advantage of these insanely low mortgage rates. As the market heats up, home prices will begin to rise again, and so will mortgage rates. So waiting could really hurt you in more ways than one. Hopefully, this video has answered your questions and given you clarity on what to expect the market to do here in the near future. Best of luck to you. And if you decide to get out and look at houses, don't forget to bring your hand sanitizer and wear a mask. I know there's a lot of you out there that hate those masks, and I get it. They're annoying to wear, and half the homemade masks probably don't even work anyway. But it's a great way to show respect to the owners of the homes you're visiting, and we should always be respectful when we enter someone else's home. Is there something in this video that really stood out to you as being helpful? If so, what was it? please let me know by commenting below. If you have questions or if I left something out, please help the community by leaving a remark below as well. Sincerely, I want to hear from you. If you know someone who's ready to buy a house, be a friend by sharing this video with them. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and ring that little bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty, the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.